So the new I Know What You Did Last Summer is here, and the first two movies are very nostalgic for me. They were never among the best in the slasher genre, but they were very fun and moody slasher films that had a charming cast and a good mystery, especially in the first movie, that doesn't really manage to handle bigger scrutiny towards it if you happen to look more closely at the story. This new movie takes that nostalgia and runs with it, with a new group of characters in the same place of Southport. The characters we get presented to are actually not bad at all. They are reminiscent of the characters from the original movie, but updated to 2025. The characters in the original, they were not that interesting either, except for one, and that was Helen Shivers. So when I say that these characters are good, I mean in context of the first movie, they work as well. Just a little bit more stupid. Our new protagonist Ava, she's about as interesting as Julie James in the original. Julie James was never really an interesting character from the beginning. She mainly just ran and screamed and so on. Not much of a character development or that we know much about her. Ava that takes her place is about the same. She's not that interesting, she just works in the context of this story. So they didn't really try to do something more to the main character than before. It's just your new face in the franchise, the new main final girl. And nothing else, and it works. They do have personality here too, like in the first movie. They are just more stupid, like I said before, and I will go into why in the spoiler section of the video. The movie is almost the same as the original at the beginning with some few changes. The opening credits are very nostalgic in that way. Even though I didn't really like the music choices because I didn't think that it fit that much. It's more of a happy style than in the first one. It's more, the music just adds some more pop to it. It's pop music. So it's a different feeling, even though the movie starts almost the same way as the original. We get introduced to this movie's characters through Ava. She is going to a friend's wedding, and there we meet the rest of the characters and how they are presented, and their dialogue is actually a lot of fun, even though some of the dialogue is badly written. But we get to see who they are as characters. And they are about the same characters as in the original, even though they are more in this movie. With one exception. That being Stevie Ward. She's a bit different than the others, and not just a straight copy of the original characters from the first movie. But overall I do like these new characters too, like I did with the original movie. I never thought that the original movie was a masterpiece or one of the greatest slashers in the genre. It was just fun, like this movie. Fun, but nothing that lasts. These movies were never really at the level of, let's say, Halloween, the first Halloween, or Scream. And they were not meant to be either, they were just copying what Scream did before them, just to a much lesser extent, and studios wanting to cash in on that success. But they were fun movies in their own right, and it was inevitable that we would get a legacy sequel to these movies. Because this is a legacy sequel. Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt, they are back. And they do basically have the same function as the legacy characters in Scream 5. Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character, Ray Bronson, he is basically the Dewey character, but not quite. There are some differences in how they utilize these characters in this legacy sequel. And if you have not seen any of these movies before, it is a slasher movie. It is about finding out who the killer is. These group of teenagers, they were in an accident where they accidentally kill a person and then try to cover it up so that their lives don't get ruined. And that is basically the setup of the original, and that is the setup of this movie, with a few smaller differences. The Fisherman, I feel, is much more brutal in this movie, and that is to be expected. The first one is from 1997 after all, and this is in 2025. But I do feel like they could have done even more with the kills, even though they were great, some of them. The Fisherman uses more tools this time, not just the hook, even though he uses the hook most of the time. Him using a harpoon is in the trailers. And I really liked that they did a kill with a different kind of tool. Overall, the movie is well acted, with some issues in the third act. Also bad dialogue in the third act, and some of it in the start of the movie. The characters are as memorable as in the first movie, if you could call them memorable, because while the characters in the original weren't really well defined, really not greatly written characters, they had written dialogue that showed who each and every one of them are. The dialogue showed their personalities in a very good way. And in the original we got Helen Shivers, who to me at least was a better written character than the main character of Julie James. Here we don't really get that standout character. But my main issue with the movie is that they make some questionable choices in the storytelling and what they do with some of the characters, especially the legacy characters. And that's why I'm now going into spoilers. So if you have not seen the new I Know What You Did Last Summer movie yet, go watch it and then come back to this video. So my main issues with the movie is what they do with Julie James and Ray Bronson. The first thing I had issues with was not that they are divorced, but that they seemingly hate each other in this movie. When they meet in the movie, it's like they are totally different people than where we left them. And that by itself isn't really weird. It's been many years since the first two movies. But to me, it didn't feel really earned that they now just hate each other really intensely, actually. We don't get any context to it. It just is. Like if the writer decided to have them divorced and they were acting like normal, a little bit tense but still a bit normal, then I would have bought it. But here it feels like they are enemies and we don't get to see or hear or have them talk about why that is. And that just didn't feel earned in the storytelling itself. The other issue, and it's a big issue I have with this movie, is that they make Ray the killer, at least one of the killers. One of the new characters, Stevie, is the other killer. And we get told that she is the daughter of some friend of Ray's, and that he cares about her. And the reason why she is killing is that the guy that was in the accident and got killed in the accident was her boyfriend. And that in itself was kind of stupid because she was there. She was one of the people that was responsible for the accident. Even though it wasn't directly, she was involved with hiding the accident. But she didn't know who it was at the time. But then she basically blames everyone but herself. And Ray helps her kill them one by one. And he kind of has his own motives. He had trauma in 97 and 98, and he feels that the town just forgot about it and want to hide it because the town is now a very popular destination to live in. So his other motive is basically to make the town remember what happened to them. And that's basically it. That's all you get as a motive for Ray's transformation from a hero in the first two movies to a killer doing the exact same thing he was protecting Julie for. And I just felt it didn't feel natural at all. It wasn't earned. It could have worked if we got some more build up to it. Not that it would be obvious who the killer is, but that we get something in why his transformation happened besides trauma and getting back at the town. So that was my biggest problem with the movie. Overall, I would say it's not a bad movie, but it had issues. I am giving the new I Know What You Did Last Summer movie a 6 out of 10. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. Also, don't forget to smash the bell icon so that you don't miss any of my future videos. This has been Phantom Frame. Thank you so much for watching.